You've been lied to, not by one person, not by one diet, by an entire industry that profits from keeping you confused. Because the real reason you can't lose belly fat has nothing to do with how much you eat. It has everything to do with what's happening inside your body at a hormonal level. And once you understand this, everything changes. The problem. Think about this for a moment. You've cut the calories. You've done the cardio. You've given up the foods you love. You've stood on that scale every morning, hoping. And the belly is still there. And here's the part that nobody talks about. You can lose fat from your face, your arms, your legs. But the belly, it stays. Like it has its own biological protection system. Because it does. Belly fat, specifically the deep visceral fat around your organs, is not the same as fat anywhere else on your body. It is metabolically active. It produces inflammatory chemicals. It disrupts your hormone signals, and it contains a significantly higher density of receptors that literally block fat release. Your belly fat is biologically engineered to stay put. This is not a willpower problem. This is not a discipline problem. This is a hormone problem. And there are two specific hormones driving it. Hormone 1, cortisol. The first hormone is cortisol, your stress hormone. Here's what it actually does. When cortisol rises, your body enters emergency mode. It begins storing energy rapidly in your abdominal region. Because visceral fat is closest to your vital organs, and your body wants that fuel accessible in a crisis. 50,000 years ago, that crisis was a predator. Today, it's a deadline, a traffic jam, a difficult conversation, a phone that won't stop buzzing. Your body cannot tell the difference. Every time modern life stresses you, cortisol rises. And every time cortisol rises, your body receives a direct signal to store and protect belly fat. Now, here's where it gets brutal. Most people fighting belly fat turn to intense cardio. Long runs, cycling, HIIT sessions, and here's the truth. Intense cardio significantly spikes cortisol. The very exercise you're using to fight belly fat is elevating the exact hormone that stores it. You are running 5 mornings a week, and every single run is quietly telling your body, hold on to that belly. That is not a motivation problem. That is cortisol working exactly as designed. Hormone 2. Insulin. The second hormone is insulin. And this one is even more important. Insulin is your body's master storage hormone. Its job, manage blood sugar, shuttle glucose into your cells. But here is the function nobody tells you about. When insulin is elevated, your body cannot burn stored fat. Not slowly, not partially, completely, biologically, impossible. Think of insulin as a lock on your fat stores. Lock engaged, fat stays inside. Lock open, fat flows out as fuel. And here's the modern epidemic hiding in plain sight. The average person spikes their insulin 4 to 6 times a day: breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, afternoon. Coffee, dinner, evening treat. Most people are walking through their entire day with that fat lock permanently engaged, which means they are physically unable to burn belly fat for the vast majority of every single day. And belly fat is uniquely sensitive to insulin. It fills up faster. It resists emptying harder. Now combine chronically elevated cortisol with chronically elevated insulin, cortisol storing belly fat around the clock, insulin locking it in place so it cannot be released. That is the perfect biological storm. And it is the real reason every diet you've ever tried has failed to touch your belly. You were fighting the symptom. The cause was running unchecked the entire time. The solution. So what actually works? 3 specific fixes. Targeting the root cause directly. Fix 1. Lower cortisol. Sleep 7 to 9 hours every night. Sleep deprivation is one of the fastest ways to spike cortisol and one of the most underrated drivers of stubborn belly. Fat. Replace intense cardio with heavy compound resistance. Training, squats, deadlifts, rows, heavy. Lifting improves cortisol regulation over time, while building the muscle that permanently raises your metabolism. Manage stress deliberately. 10 minutes of daily breathing. Evening walks without your phone. These are not soft suggestions. These are direct hormonal interventions. Fix 2. Stabilize insulin. Eat 2 to 3 meals per day with no snacking between them. This gives your insulin long windows to drop, creating extended periods where your fat lock is open and belly fat can finally burn. Cut liquid sugar completely. Sodas, juices, flavored coffees. These create the most aggressive insulin spikes of anything you consume. Eat protein first at every meal. Protein blunts the insulin response from the carbohydrates that follow. Same food, lower hormonal impact, every time. Fix 3. Build muscle for long-term insulin sensitivity. Muscle tissue is where glucose goes. The more muscle you build, the lower your baseline insulin levels become over time. This is the long game. And it permanently changes how your body handles fat storage. Closing. Here's the bottom line. Your belly fat is not a reflection of your effort. It is not proof of a character flaw. It is not punishment for lacking discipline. It is the predictable biological result of 2 hormones operating unchecked in an environment that modern life created. Fix the cortisol. Stabilize the insulin. Build the muscle, and the belly fat that has been there for years will finally have nowhere left to hide. You were never the problem. The information was, now you have it. If this finally made belly fat make sense, smash that like button right now. Subscribe, because every week we bring you this level of truth. And drop a comment. How long have you been fighting belly fat without knowing the real reason? I'll see you in the next one. Now go fix the right problem.